Hey there. Thanks for jumping into today's video. Really today, we just wanted to do a high level video about what Sage Intacct is and some of the benefits it has to offer. And so Sage Intacct, just to kind of kick us off, Sage Intacct is an ERP, and ERP in general stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. And so ERP systems, they are really serving as a system of record and central hub to store both financial information, but really data and information across your entire business. And so they're tracking things like employees, operations, sales, procurement. And then that information is stored and made available to other users so that they can turn around and start to do their own operational analysis for an area that they're concerned with. Like a warehouse manager might want to do an analysis of total sales dollars per employee warehouse hour work, as an example. Many believe it's just for reporting, but again, these ERP systems are truly tracking both financial and non-financial data. And that data that's stored in the system can really originate from various inputs. So obviously it can be manually input into the system, but very commonly these ERPs are having information fed into them from other supporting and operational systems like ADP or Salesforce or Procore. But let's talk about the when and why companies choose to move over to a solution like Intacct. So ERPs are obviously big, robust systems. Implementations can typically span from a couple of months to over a year, really depending on the size and the complexity of the business and the implementation, right? Given this, really companies typically start on smaller solutions, something like QuickBooks, for instance. And with these smaller solutions come with a more flat data structure typically. These systems are really more geared towards accounting exclusively. And so with that flat data structure, they're usually supported by spreadsheets. And as businesses grow and scale to maybe new verticals or levels of complexity, so do the number of manual processes and spreadsheets that come along with that. Really, at the end of the day, what this leads to is bloated staffing requirements, lost opportunities, lack of real-time insights is probably one of the biggest ones. And what that disallows for is the ability to quickly pivot, and a lot of times really leads to reactive decision-making versus proactive, because we're working with this static retrospective reporting. So now that we've talked high level about what Intacct is and when companies would choose to move over to a solution like Intacct, how is it that Intacct can actually relieve or altogether eliminate some of these issues? So let's jump into the system. Today's video really is going to be a little more high level, but I will be doing some other videos that are a little more role specific as well as construction specific, since that's really where Sockeye focuses as a company and as a partner. So today we're just going to be talking about dynamic dashboards, real-time reporting, and increasing visibility, as well as elimination of some of those manual processes. And obviously we're just going to be scraping the surface here. So if after this video, for whatever reason, you have questions, definitely reach out to the team here at Sockeye. Now, as we're jumping in, we're going to talk over dashboards first. Now, dashboards, for those without prior experience, can sound like a bit of a buzzword. But these are something native in Intacct and can allow real-time insight to performance. And so these dashboards can be built and custom tailored to locations, departments, or even individual users, and can house a number of different elements, all really based on what it is your users need to see, from snapshot metrics to reporting to collaboration between coworkers, all the way to approvals outstanding. Now, as we jump in here, I want to talk over the dynamic real-time reporting that we have here within Intacct. So with older legacy systems, typically the way that they achieve and capture granularity is at the chart of accounts level, leaving our data relatively flat, as I mentioned earlier, and really not allowing for some of those operational insights. So with that, anytime we wanted to track and report on a new attribute in these older systems, we would have to build that into the chart of accounts. So this could be a department's performance, for example. So to do that, we would have to open up 50 new P&L accounts And that would be typically done with a sub account. And that's what's allowing us to capture that data against a new GL account in our chart accounts. So Intacct really approaches this a really different way, and it's using something called dimensions. And so these dimensions are essentially just standalone fields at the point of transaction entry. I think with that, the best way to describe the data within Intacct is everything living within this giant Excel file, with our rows being our transactions and records, and our columns being represented by our dimensions. And so what this allows for is being able to easily pivot and manipulate this data and then gain insights to performance by project, by department, employee, or even a piece of equipment. At the same time, simplifying our higher level financial reporting, since we're no longer having to expand our chart of accounts and rewrite all of our reports every time that we do. And so as long as we have revenue and cost coded to one of these dimensions, we could then run a P&L by a piece of equipment, for example, all on the fly. Now, I mentioned elimination of manual processes. So what are some of the things that we can do here to do that? Now, when processes are manual, apart from the bloated headcount needs, you're always running on a lag. So this could be manually entering bills, reconciling cash accounts, or generating invoices as an example. So within Intacct, we take advantage of things like AP automation to speed up your entry process, bank and credit card feeds, and rules to auto reconcile our cash transactions, and then have the system automatically compile all of our billable expenses to bill back to a client. When we speed up these processes, we obviously require less hands to do these things, but we're also providing for real-time operational insights from management to use for making decisions, as well as considerably reducing the time required to close the books for external reporting. Now, we'll be putting together 2 follow-up videos, so be sure to check back in. The first one, I think, will be diving a little more in depth on the reporting and some of those efficiencies and elimination of manual processes from the eyes of a controller or accounting staff. And then we'll do another video that will be a little more focused on project managers within the construction real estate space, and highlighting everything construction related that we can track, as well as how easy it is to do your own research within the system and gain visibility into real-time, project performance and progress. Thanks for watching. And obviously, as always, if you have any questions surrounding anything we've talked over today or anything having to do with Sage Intacct, don't hesitate to reach out to the team here at Sockeye.